After my mother passed away from illness, she told me to go to the capital to find my father. I followed the address to his doorstep. Ah, good heavens. You never mentioned that my father was such a scumbag. The water here is far too deep. Maybe I should just go back to the village and keep slaughtering pigs. Just as I was about to turn and leave, I saw the primary wife grit her teeth and sign the divorce papers. When she was about to have hundreds of chests of dowry carried away, they were blocked from leaving. Isn't this just bullying people? I stood up against the injustice, ensuring the dowry was carried away smoothly. As the primary wife passed by me, she frowned and took a look at me. I saw the tears she was holding back in her eyes and said cautiously, I happen to be in need of a mother. Do you want a daughter? They say a bad father ruins a household, but a wealthy mother brings prosperity for generations. As a simple girl from the countryside, I want nothing to do with this mess. So, putting the idea of a father behind me, I happily followed my new mother back to her estate. Although my foster mother left quite decisively, the moment she returned to her room, she was filled with sorrow. Gold and silver jewelry could not ease her pain, and fine silks could not wipe away her tears. She wept at the walls covered in shimmering gold bricks, letting her tears fall onto a gold-embroidered handkerchief, discarding it after every wipe. Oh, my goodness. Even I would not dare to waste paper like that back home. At the height of her grief, my foster mother grabbed a night-luminescent pearl, the size of a baby's fist, and threw it to the floor to vent her frustration. My heart ached so much. I trembled, and before my brain could even process it, I had already caught the pearl with lightning speed. She threw, I caught, she threw again, and I caught it again. My foster mother was panting with exhaustion, but heard not a single sound of impact. She stared at me with wide eyes, and I just gave her a simple toothy grin. Foster mother, if you want to celebrate, I can go buy you some firecrackers to set off instead. They are cheap and make a lot of noise. Only then did she remember that I was the daughter she had just picked up and brought home. She said with an angry, tearful voice, "What a clueless girl." After being kicked out of the Lai household, which I of yours saw me wanting to celebrate, I gently set down the treasure I was holding in my arms and said cheerfully, "Foster mother, even folks back in my village know that these are the 3 great joys of life. What does that have to do with me? Just look, while you were at the Lai household, you had to listen to others, didn't you? But now, who do you have to listen to? A woman follows her husband's lead and must always put the man first, while also showing filial piety to the mother-in-law. But now that I have returned to the Zhao estate, all the relatives are away in the southern lands, and I am the mistress of everything in the capital, with no one else to answer to." That is right. You have gone from obeying others to being your own master. Is that not a promotion of sorts? That counts as the first joy. I saw you bring back so many chests of gold and silver, enough to last for lifetimes. That counts as the second joy. My foster mother lifted her chin and said proudly, "That is nothing. At most, it is just a bit of dowry, just something to cast away." Exactly. That is the third joy. You have attained all 3 joys of life. Joy upon joy. I think we should set off firecrackers for 3 days and 3 nights to celebrate. My foster mother's complexion finally improved, and she said with a laugh that turned into a sigh, "Ha ha ha, you girl really suit my taste." My foster mother channeled her grief into motivation and began to give me a makeover. I was stripped down like a piece of raw pork belly. I was first scrubbed and washed clean. Then I was rinsed with hot water several times. I was rubbed with fragrant oils. No, I was soaked in a bath filled with flower petals. Even my hair, which had been as coarse as dry straw, was combed until it was smooth and glossy. I gazed at my transformed reflection in the mirror, and as I caught the scent of the perfume on my skin, I couldn't help but sigh. Mother, if I went to slaughter a pig looking like this, how many people would laugh at me? Shao He, stop referring to yourself so informally. Otherwise, people will laugh at you right now. Let Mother take a good look at you. What a lovely girl you are. Once your skin gets a bit fairer, you will surely be a great beauty." Her voice was soft and kind. Her eyes reflected my image, as if I were her most precious daughter. It felt as though I were her most cherished daughter. I felt my face flush, and I lowered my head in shyness. "Godmother, I have never had anyone treat me this way since I was a child. No, wait, I mean, no one has ever been this good to me. I have no way to repay your kindness. How about I go and slaughter a pig for you? Tomorrow, I will hire a tutor for you. We should focus on your education first." She paused, then asked with a puzzled expression, "Shao He, why did you start butchering pigs at such a young age? Where are your parents?" My expression dimmed, and I began to tell her of my origins. My mother was always lost in romantic daydreams. My grandfather was a scholar, but in the end, he could never bring himself to be harsh with her. My mother spent her days sighing and lamenting. I was essentially raised by my grandfather. I followed him from a young age, watching him write and paint for others, earning a modest living. When I turned 20, my grandfather fell ill and passed away, leaving behind 2 orphans, my mother and me. My mother was timid by nature. Having lost my grandfather as our support, she had no choice but to rely on me. Xiao He, tell me, what are we to do? Xiao He, mother only has you left now. You cannot abandon me. So, I picked up the blade and found a butcher who was a friend of my grandfather, learning how to slaughter pigs. I was born with great strength. Later on, my mother's long-standing grief caused her to grow weaker by the day. Before she took her final breath, she clutched my hand tightly, reminiscing for half an hour. After reminiscing for half an hour, she finally mentioned me in her final words. Xiao He, you must find your father. After she passed, I did not shed a single tear. I calmly saw to her burial and continued to slaughter pigs and sell meat as usual, eating and sleeping just as I always had. It wasn't until a deep night when I was 23 that I woke up from a dream in a cold sweat, suddenly realizing that my mother was gone and I had no family left in the world. I cried for the entire night. The next day, I packed my bags and followed my mother's final wish to head to the capital. I went to find my father, not to seek recognition, but only to ask him if he still remembered my mother. Based on the name Li Sheng, I found the gates of the Li Manor. But the moment I saw that man, I felt there was no need to ask anything at all. And as it happened, I was missing a mother. I kept the fact that Li Sheng was my biological father a secret, not daring to tell my godmother. If she knew, she would surely drive me away. I finished my story, and for a long time, I heard no sound from her. When I finally looked up, I saw her eyes were brimming with tears. Your mother is gone as well. From now on, we shall be companions as mother and daughter. Let me cherish you. Will you let me? I buried my face in her fragrant embrace and replied in a muffled voice, yes, mother. My godmother's name was Zhaoji, and she came from a merchant family. After marrying into the Lai family, as time went on, she began to feel that her own household was. She took me to a shop owned by the Zhao family to buy some jewelry. Looking at the dazzling array of goods, I was so amazed I could not close my mouth. This hairpin costs 30 taels? How many pigs would I have to slaughter to earn that? Mother, can such expensive items really be sold? My foster mother flipped through the ledger. The shopkeeper handed her and said with a touch of sadness, after I married Li Sheng, his family looked down upon merchants and did not want me to be tainted by the smell of copper. I stopped managing these shops entirely. Had I managed them properly, the business would certainly be doing better than it is now. Everything they eat and wear is bought with silver. It is truly a case of eating from the bowl and then cursing the cook, is it not? If they could grow their own rice and weave their own clothes, I might be willing to look at them more favorably. It is good that you escaped that trap, mother. From now on, do business whenever you wish and earn piles of money. Forget about them. Haha, hearing you speak truly makes my heart feel refreshed. Xiao He, pick whatever you like from the shop to play with. Later, I will find some more valuable pieces for you from the warehouse. I felt as if I had fallen into a nest of gold and silver. I selected a shiny, beautiful gold hairpin, and just as I was about to put it on, haha, where did this country girl come from to wear such a large gold ornament on her head? Is truly tacky. What an embarrassment. I did not like that one bit. Gold is the rarest treasure in the world. It can be spent, and it can be worn. What is tacky about that? Are you so bored that you have to meddle in other people's affairs? If you are so noble, do you not have to breathe? How utterly crude. I will not speak to someone like you. Humph. You were the one who spoke to me first. I find your mouth foul as well. You. Pair, lowering yourself to argue with such a commoner only demeans your status. I turned my head to get a better look and recognized them as Li Sheng's concubine and the foster mother's daughter, walking arm in arm, looking just like a very close mother and daughter. I immediately looked toward my foster mother on the other side. She had noticed them too. My foster mother walked over to me, reached out to straighten the gold hairpin on my head, and praised me. Xiao He, you look grand wearing this hairpin. Just looking at you puts me in a good mood. Thank you, mother. Upon seeing her mother, whom she had not seen for days, Li Pair was not happy at all. Instead of showing any joy, she did not even offer a greeting. Even if you are angry with us, there is no need to bring someone like her here to put on a show. It is truly embarrassing, simply shameful. I did not come here for you today. I am here to buy some jewelry for Aunt Liu. Shopkeeper, bring out the best things you have here. Boss. In the past, Li Pair never paid when she came to buy jewelry. Everything was simply put on her account. My foster mother never cared and let her be. But today, seeing her try to get things for Lu Mingyu for free, my foster mother could no longer stand it and said coldly, Li Pair, Jihe, is my adopted daughter. You have no right to mock her. Furthermore, do not forget that with your father and that woman, you and your brother have already broken ties with me. If you want to buy things in my shop, you will pay the full price. Not a single coin less, Xiao He. Although that was reasonable, it was a bit harsh. Try to say less of that in the future. Very well. I will listen to you, mother. Li Pei'er was so angry she was sweating profusely. Her face flushed red as she pointed at me and shouted, You. Liu Mingyu hurriedly patted her arm. She spoke gently. Pei'er, your mother must be refusing to return home simply because she is angry with me. What she just said was purely out of spite. It is all my fault. I should never have come back. I will go pack my things and leave right now. Li Pei'er immediately gripped her hand tightly. She said with deep sincerity, Aunt Liu, my brother and I have been under your care since we were small. You have been so good to us. We have kept it all in our hearts. You must not leave. Hearing this, my foster mother suddenly turned pale with shock. You have known about Liu Mingyu's existence all this time. All these years, the entire family has been keeping this from me. Seeing her so astonished, Li Pei'er felt a sense of smug triumph. She sneered. Yes. She is the one who holds us in the palm of her hand, compared to a vulgar merchant like you. I much prefer someone like Aunt Liu, who is gentle and cultured. Now you finally understand how important Aunt Liu is, right? I advise you to go back early and apologize to Aunt Liu in front of father and grandmother. Just do it. Happily agree to marry Aunt Liu, and this matter will be settled. This affair will be resolved. My foster mother's heart was now completely dead. She had emptied her dowry, subsidized the entire family, and bought only the finest food and clothing to nurture her children. She spent a fortune to hire the most prestigious tutors. When the children were playful, she had to harden her heart and be a strict mother to discipline them. Yet, in the end, she did not even receive a word of gratitude. The whole family had been conspiring to deceive her. For all these years, she had effectively lived as a joke. My foster mother lifted her chin slightly, and with a broken heart, she said resolutely, Li Pei'er, the divorce papers between me and Lai Sheng have already been sent to the magistrate. The seal has been affixed, and it is legally binding. From now on, you may acknowledge whoever you wish. Understood. Furthermore, starting from today, no one from the Lai family is allowed to enter any shop under the Zhao family name. As soon as she finished speaking, she turned and returned to the courtyard, not bothering to look at them ever again. Li Pei'er did not believe she would dare to be so heartless. Fuming, she raised her leg to chase after her. Hey, you stand right there. Immediately, I swung a palm with full force, striking her hard across the face. That slap was on behalf of my foster mother. You ungrateful brat. Li Pei'er spun around in circles before she could steady herself. Liu Mingyu rushed over to check her swollen cheek. How can you just hit people like that? You are completely devoid of upbringing. This one is for you, too. My mother cares about appearances, but I do not. If you dare to harass her again, I promise, I will lash you every single time I see you. A few days later, not many days passed, when the scumbag father, Li Sheng, actually came looking for us himself. My foster mother could not be bothered to see him at all, but we happened to run into him as we were heading out. Li Sheng's eyes were fixed intently on my face, and he squinted slightly as if trying to recall something, fearing that my identity might be exposed. I lowered my head and pulled my foster mother to walk around him. Unexpectedly, Li Sheng suddenly opened his mouth and asked me, "Are you the daughter born to Ji Ruhuan?" I froze completely, and in my panic, I turned to look at my foster mother. Li Sheng blocked my path, putting on a hypocritical expression as he examined me closely. After a brief moment of panic, I calmed down instantly. Even if I bear a striking resemblance to my mother, she has been missing for so long now that he cannot definitively conclude I am his own flesh and blood. Could my mother not have remarried someone else? As long as I adamantly refuse to admit it, what can he possibly do to me? Having made up my mind, I gave him an impatient glance and said, "What does that have to do with you? Why aren't you at home, keeping that woman company? Why are you running here to find trouble? Get lost immediately. You are absolutely devoid of upbringing." Li Sheng, you have no right to point fingers at Xiao He. I severed all ties with you long ago. I do not wish to see you again. Leave at once. Zhao Ji. There must be a limit to your unreasonable behavior. You, a mere merchant's daughter, should consider it a blessing to have married into a scholarly family. Do not fail to appreciate your good fortune. Last time, when you publicly humiliated Mingyu and Pei'er, I did not even hold you accountable. It was only due to Mingyu's magnanimity that she persuaded me not to dwell on it. If you could be even half as understanding as she is, I would be quite satisfied. Enough. I intend to give Mingyu her proper status and take her as my wife. Once you have finished your tantrum, go and prepare the wedding arrangements for us. Remember, The spectacle must be grand. She must not be slighted in any way. Ever since my godmother left, the standard of living at the Li residence had plummeted. Li Sheng was only a 5th-rank official, which was enough to support the family, but nowhere near the quality of life they once enjoyed. The premium tea was now replaced by common leaves. The constant supply of fresh fruits had vanished, and the pastries had become coarse and unpalatable. Even the master chef who could prepare grand banquets had been taken away as well. Now that he wanted to marry Lu Mingyu, he simply could not scrape together enough silver. Only then did he remember my godmother's value. Yet, even so, Li Sheng maintained his arrogant, insufferable demeanor. My godmother had long since given up on him and no longer felt the need to compromise, saying with extreme impatience, "Are you incapable of understanding plain speech? I told you, we have absolutely nothing to do with each other anymore. If you have come begging for money because you cannot afford to marry Lu Mingyu, you ought to at least adopt the posture of a beggar. If I am in a particularly good mood, perhaps I might toss a few coins your way." Zhao Ji, I have already given you a way out of this. If you refuse to take it, do not expect to ever step foot in the Li residence again. I have no desire to. From now on, Jihe is my daughter. I do not need anyone from your Li family. Li Sheng stared at her with a sinister gaze, then suddenly turned to look at me, letting out a cold laugh. Zhao Ji, you truly are the height of stupidity. You could never have guessed in your wildest dreams that this Jihe is actually my daughter. My godmother looked stunned, immediately turning her eyes to me. I flatly denied it, retorting, "What nonsense are you spouting? My father passed away long ago. If you are so fond of being a father to others, why not head to the underworld and compete with him for the title?" Li Sheng suppressed his rage, speaking with absolute certainty. "There is no need for you to deny it. I have already sent people to inquire. Everyone in your village knows that back then Ji Ruhuan gave birth to a daughter. You look so much like her. And you both bear the surname Ji." He actually knew everything, knowing how much my mother had suffered, waiting foolishly for a lifetime. I clenched my fists tightly, struggling to suppress the trembling of my rage. I, Li Sheng, have always been one to take responsibility for my actions. Your mother sent you to find me, simply because she wanted me to give you a status. I will grant her wish. You will come home with me to the Li residence today. From now on, you shall be a young lady of a scholarly family. Since you knew everything, why did you never go to see her? Even writing a letter to end her delusions would have been better. Why let her wait in such agony? Jihe, I originally intended to find you both, but my family encountered some difficulties, and I was forced to marry this merchant's daughter, Zhao Ji. She is a jealous and vicious woman. I did this only to protect you and your mother. If your mother chose to wait for me, that was her own choice. You must surely understand your father's plight, don't you? Come home with me. Fine. I followed Zhao Ji back into the house. Jihe, why did you feel the need to hide this from me? I was afraid you would be furious and throw me out. I have said it before. I do not wish to have even the slightest connection to the Li family again. I quickly stood up. I rubbed my aching eyes. I said in a low voice, I am truly sorry. I am leaving now. Please, do not be angry. Take good care of your health from now on. You have a kind heart. You will surely live a long and healthy life. Hey, wait a moment. I have not finished speaking. As long as your surname is Jie and not Li, you are still my daughter. I stared at Zhao Ji in a daze. I said with disbelief, Mother, you still acknowledge me. Zhao Ji used a handkerchief to wipe away my tears. She said, gently, your mother was a pitiful soul as well. She simply trusted the wrong person. This is not her fault, and it certainly cannot be your fault either. If there is anyone to blame, it is the heartless scoundrel who trampled on her sincerity. The lives you led in the past were already difficult enough. How could I ever resent you? Mother, I will never act so recklessly again. I will use clever methods to make Li Sheng suffer the consequences. Good, that is the way. Li Sheng prides himself on his status. I will make him lose all his face. I will drag him into the mud. He toys with women's hearts. I will use his own tactics to deal with him. The debts he owes my mother and my godmother, I will settle them one by one. My godmother hired a tutor to teach me to read. I had learned to read and write from my grandfather since I was a child, so it was not difficult for me to pick it up again. However, I loathed burying my nose in books. Sitting still every day made my entire body uncomfortable. Seeing that I lacked talent in that area, my godmother began teaching me how to manage trade and accounts herself, although I could tally numbers well enough when butchering pigs for sale. Whenever I encountered merchants who were slick and hypocritical, always hiding their true intentions in their speech, my fists would start to itch. My godmother eventually stopped taking me to negotiate deals. Seeing her worried expression, my martial arts master's eyes lit up. A prodigy. She has an absolutely perfect foundation. He was born with immense strength. She is suited for martial arts. If she enters the martial examinations this year, she will definitely place well. Registration for the martial arts exams is open to both men and women. Everything is settled by one's fists. It is just that women naturally lack physical strength, so very few ever achieve a high rank. Men never take women seriously, either. They all consider it good luck to encounter a female opponent in the arena. I registered my name with great enthusiasm. While practicing my punches with my master, I kept a close watch on the movements of the Lai family. Li Jia, the young master of the Lai family, even came to our door. "Mother, you should just go back and apologize. Get out of here." Seeing that my godmother was adamant about not returning, Li Sheng sent an invitation to provoke her instead. He personally arranged his grand wedding to marry Lu Mingyu. The invitation did not even touch the threshold of our house before I tore it to shreds. However, the proper etiquette must not be forgotten. In order to offer my congratulations to Li Sheng, I woke up early and ran outside the city to catch toads. I had just filled half a hemp sack when I suddenly stumbled upon a leg in the mud. Judging by my years of experience in butchering pigs, this leg was quite long indeed. I grabbed the leg and dragged the person onto the shore. I saw that this fellow was covered in blood, but he was still breathing. My godmother once said, "The capital is filled with high-ranking officials. One careless move could lead to a death sentence. Stay out of other people's business." I looked up and saw that the sun had already risen. If I dawdled any longer, I would truly be late. So I hurried to finish my work. I continued to catch toads until I had stuffed the entire sack full. Just as I was about to mount my horse, I turned my head and glanced at the man on the ground once more. The mud on his face dried under the sun and flaked off, revealing a portion of his face, fair and clean. He was truly handsome. Seeing that no one was around, I let my kindness get the better of me and hoisted him onto my horse to bring him back with me. Just as Li Sheng and Lu Mingyu were about to bow during the wedding ceremony, a swarm of toads suddenly crawled in. They were everywhere, dizzying to look at. The guests' screams mixed with the croaking, creating quite a ruckus. It was chaos. In the middle of the confusion, the Lai family members were pushed and tripped over, and someone stepped on Li Sheng's leg, causing him to lose all color in his face from the pain. He bellowed at the top of his lungs, "Summonon, guards, get these wretched things out of here at once. Get rid of these things immediately. Hurry." Lu Mingyu shrieked as she pulled a toad off her head, rolled her eyes back, and fainted on the spot from sheer terror. The wedding became the laughingstock of the capital. Every street and alleyway whispered that Li Sheng had married a toad lady. I returned home feeling completely satisfied and hurriedly asked a doctor to check on the man I had brought back. The man had nothing on him to identify who he was, but the fabric of his clothes suggested he was someone of wealth and status. My foster mother was worried about trouble and told me to send him away as soon as he woke up. 2 days later, the man slowly regained consciousness, but could not recall his origins. I figured he must have lost his memory and bluffed, "Yaun Master Xiao Chao, I only saved you because you promised to marry me. You better not try to back out of it. Don't you dare renege on your word." The man curled his lip. "My name is Xiao Chao, and I promised to marry you. So I am called Young Master Bridge, and I promised to offer myself to you." I was in a rush to go practice my martial arts, so I quickly finished, "Yes, just make sure you focus on recovering from your injuries first. We can talk about the marriage when I have more free time." I poured all my energy into my training, and soon forgot all about him. The day of the martial arts examination soon arrived. My first opponent was a burly man with a thick beard. Upon seeing me, he said with disdain, "Little girl, if you beg for mercy right now and call me brother, I might be in a good enough mood to go easy on you later." That is strange. Why do I hear a dog barking? Why don't you bark a few more times? If I like what I hear, maybe I'll reward you with a rotten bone. You want to die? The bearded man raised his fist and charged at me. But the very next second, his expression turned to one of terror as he clutched his arm and wailed, "It hurts. My elbow is broken. Help me." Under the astonished gaze of the spectators, I blew on my fist and flashed a grin. The dog barking was quite good. "Get lost and go chew on your bone." Then I kicked him off the stage. I won the preliminary rounds without much effort. For the final round, I used a butcher's knife as my weapon. Having wielded the blade since I was 12, I was so proficient with it, it felt like an extension of my own hand. There was no suspense at all. I claimed the title of martial champion. Soon after, I was summoned to the palace to receive a reward from the emperor, who appointed me as a 4th-rank Imperial Guard commander, a position even higher than Li Sheng's. Bai Qing, who placed 2nd, and Fei Chu, who placed 3rd, were also granted official posts. They were thoroughly impressed by my martial prowess. "Ji He, for a girl, you are incredibly fierce. I am truly impressed. From now on, you are our big sister." "That is right, big sister He. Could you let me take another look at that precious blade of yours?" "No problem at all." During our conversation, Bai Qing, who hails from a prominent and noble lineage, suddenly lowered his voice. "The city has been restless lately. According to inside information, the crown prince mysteriously vanished while returning to the capital. His whereabouts remain unknown to this day. He has likely met with foul play. Everyone, stay alert." Fei Chu exclaimed in shock. "The crown prince? You mean the one who attended court at 15, who was incredibly brilliant, known as the jade-faced Yama, Murong Jin? Even he could be schemed against?" "That is right, it is him. The two chatted for a long time. Seeing that I had not interjected, "Sister He, what do you think?" I narrowed my eyes, suddenly thinking of the man I had rescued. I smiled and said, "What do the affairs of those high-ranking figures have to do with me? It is better to ponder how I shall spend the night with a handsome man. Sister He, you are truly carefree." Ha ha ha. My foster mother had long since heard the joyful news of my promotion. While I was still quite a distance from home, I could hear the crackling of firecrackers. She was beaming with joy, like a goddess of wealth, distributing money to passersby, shouting that she would host a grand banquet for 3 days. "This is my daughter. She placed first in the martial examinations." Ha ha ha. The celebratory tea lasted late into the night, after helping my foster mother to bed. His injuries had mostly healed. He was currently lighting a lamp to read. Seeing me enter the room, he shot a cold, icy glance my way. "Do you have business with me?" I ordered the kitchen to simmer more calming soup, and specifically instructed for a physician to come and check on him, to tend to his startled spirit. I had absolutely no idea, but upon waking and seeing the soup and the physician, his face turned an intimidating shade of pale. He vanished from my home that very day. My good mood from the morning was ruined in an instant. Li Sheng came running to me again to claim kinship. This time, he even dragged his mother and son along. His mother's face was plastered with a hypocritical smile, staring at me and saying, "This girl looks like a bringer of good fortune. To place first in the martial examinations at such a young age and to become an official. She is truly worthy of our Lai family bloodline." "Ji-hee, my dear grandchild, grandmother has come specifically to bring you back to the manor. I have decided to make an exception and allow you into the Lai family genealogy. This is a supreme honor. Come, return to the manor with grandmother." They assumed I would go back with them, but I had no intention of doing so. "I am not going back." Li Zhao was the first to jump out, furious. He said, "Grandmother has personally granted you the right to acknowledge your ancestors. Not only do you refuse to kneel to her, but you dare to spout such nonsense. You are so unfilial and unruly. Are you not afraid of what people will say behind your back?" I cast a look of disdain at him, sneering. "My surname is Ji, and I have my own family cemetery. Who do you think you are, to come here and try to claim a connection to me?" Once the old woman caught her breath, seeking an easier target, she pointed at my foster mother and roared, "Zhao Ji, is it you who forbade Ji-hee from acknowledging her kin? You are deliberately causing our Lai family flesh and blood to be separated. How can you be so vicious? Get down on your knees." It was enough to make me laugh in anger. My foster mother did not tolerate him either, shouting back, "What right do you have to order me around? Do you truly think I am still the same Zhao Ji you used to bully? Samon, douse them." Immediately, several servants arrived carrying buckets of filthy water and splashed it onto them without the slightest hesitation. I gave my foster mother a thumbs up. After a moment of complete chaos, Li Sheng, covered in filth, "Zhao Ji, you are being too overbearing. Do you believe that I can have you and your business driven out of the capital?" I gave a cold smile. Mockingly, I asked, "How exactly do you plan to exile my foster mother? You should remember this. Your current rank is not even as high as mine. Why don't we make a wager? Let's see who gets kicked out of the capital first." Li Sheng was trembling with rage. He cursed viciously. "You ungrateful brat. I am your father." I retorted impatiently. "My father passed away long ago. Stop trying to claim kinship with me. You buzz around like a fly day and night. Have some shame. Too lazy to waste more breath on them." I helped my foster mother back inside. Before entering, I told the steward, "Is the dirty water all gone? There is still some left, right? If they don't leave, keep pouring it on them. From now on, pour it every time they show up." "Understood, miss." "Absolutely. We'll go get more right now." Li Sheng and his group immediately retreated several steps. They were scared, stiff. Li Sheng held a minor fifth rank position in the Ministry of Revenue, where he often helped his superiors hide agricultural land to evade national taxes. My foster mother mentioned he kept a secret ledger of these crimes, hidden away in the study of his manor. My eyes darted around as I formulated a plan. As for Liu Mingyu, back when she was a mistress, she had Li Sheng use my foster mother's money to support her. She was accustomed to a life of luxury. However, after entering the Li Manor, she realized that her life was actually worse than before. Her clothes and meals were no longer refined, and the extra money and jewelry she had were constantly eyed by her mother-in-law and Li Pear. Things would go missing every few days. "Master, you must seek justice for me. We are all one family. Do not distinguish between us. You know, I am your husband. You should learn from Zhao Ji how to contribute to the family." When Liu Mingyu was feeling frustrated, she happened to run into a generous man while walking in the street. Under his calculated advances, Liu Mingyu was soon head over heels, and she stole the ledger from Li Sheng's study to please him. But after that, man obtained the ledger. He never followed through on his promise to run away with her. Instead, he simply vanished. Then, that ledger fell into my hands. I pulled off a major stunt. I made hundreds of copies of the ledger and scattered them all over the capital. The documents implicated many high-ranking officials, including members of the imperial clan. In an instant, the whole city was in an uproar. The emperor collapsed in a fit of rage. The crown prince, who had just returned a few days prior, was left in charge of the government. Investigate this matter thoroughly. Li Sheng was the first to be dragged in for interrogation. He confessed to everything before even receiving a single blow. I confess to it all. I was the one who scattered the ledgers. They also discovered that I was the mastermind. I instantly became a thorn in the side of these officials. They charged me with inciting the public. The crown prince, whom I had never met face-to-face, asked bluntly, "Do you plead guilty?" The voice sounded strangely familiar. I recalled the rumors surrounding the crown prince, but I dared not look up. I knelt obediently and replied, "This subject is not guilty. In my maternal grandfather's home, our ancestors originally held enough land to feed the family, but it was all usurped, inch, by the local magistrate and wealthy landowners. By my grandfather's generation, there was nothing left. Yet, while their land holdings expanded, their taxes remained unchanged, and the tax burden was shifted onto the common people. The villagers' lives grew harder with each passing year. Fortunately, my grandfather was educated, and he managed to support the family by writing for others. Now that there was a way to bring these injustices into the public eye, how could I not act? At worst, I would just pack my bags and go home to slaughter pigs. They couldn't possibly take my life, could they?" Upon hearing my words, the officials were furious. "Your Highness, he remains stubborn to the end. In my opinion, we should demote her and send her away. I said long ago that we shouldn't let women hold official posts. She is nothing but a troublemaker. Add a new rule to next year's martial arts examination. Strictly forbid women from signing up. She has infuriated His Majesty. Inciting the populace is a grave crime. Your Highness the Crown Prince, your subject has witnessed the chaos. It would be better to deal with Jai He severely. I do not care for such talk," I retorted on the spot. I defeated all the opponents. I won the title of martial champion, fair and square. What is the matter? Are you afraid that men will continue to lose to women next year? Are you so frightened that you dare not let women compete? I have committed no heinous or wicked deeds. On what grounds do you demand my punishment? Are you all so anxious because you have done so many corrupt things in the shadows? Are you terrified that I will expose your true colors? We are not anxious at all. We must execute her. Definitely execute her. If you aren't anxious, why not let people audit your secret ledgers? Why don't you check how many mistresses you keep in your manor? The crown prince lowered his face and said, "Silence. Such clamor is highly improper. Raise your head." The court fell deathly silent. In an instant, no one dared to make a sound. This was my first time truly observing the crown prince's features. I was completely stunned by what I saw. The crown prince, Murong Jin, was actually the young master I had once saved. That settles it. Everything is easier with a familiar face. I gave him a meaningful smile, hoping to appear friendly. Yet he gave me a cold, icy glare. My heart skipped a beat. Could he be holding a grudge? I suddenly felt a chill on my neck. Is he going to use this opportunity to have me beheaded? I obediently lowered my head and heard him say in a stern voice, "You have performed a service by exposing the tax evasion on hidden land, but your methods were far too reckless, causing unnecessary panic among the people. Your merits and faults cancel each other out. I am docking 3 months of your salary. As a warning, think carefully before you act in the future." He pondered for a moment and added, "You must also conduct yourself with propriety and maintain an upright character. Do you accept this?" I quickly nodded. I accept. Thank you, Your Highness the Crown Prince. You are truly impartial and selfless. Your subject will surely remember your teachings and be careful in my conduct from now on." Murong Jin turned his head away, his ears flushing red. He no longer looked at me. Following this, under Murong Jin's lead, all the farmland in the realm was resurveyed and audited. Anyon, who had underpaid their taxes, was given 1 month to pay the full amount. Otherwise, they would be arrested and their assets confiscated. The national treasury was suddenly overflowing. He then exempted the common people from taxes for 3 years, allowing them to live in peace. Li Sheng was sentenced to exile in a desolate region. Having dragged so many people down with him, it was uncertain if he would even survive the journey there. He now hated Liu Mingyu with a burning passion, full of regret, and eventually broke ties with his foster mother. But it was all too late. Liu Mingyu intended to steal the money and slip away in the middle of the night, but she was caught red-handed by Li Pei. The two women clawed at each other in a frenzy. The noise alerted the Lai family matriarch and Li Zhao. They beat Liu Mingyu until she was bruised and battered, and then threw her out of the front gate, unable to survive in the city any longer. They sold their house and planned to flee the capital. While fleeing, their money was stolen by thieves. They were forced to live in destitution in a remote village. To survive, they had to take on manual labor just to scrape by. From a life of luxury, they were reduced to beggars, with no hope of ever recovering. On that day, I left the palace in high spirits. On the road, I encountered a slightly destitute young scholar, who was quite handsome. I approached him to strike up a casual conversation. After confirming he was unmarried, and finding his personality quite steady, I warmly invited him to serve as a tutor in my home. Once I led him into the courtyard, I asked my foster mother to look after him. My foster mother has always had a soft spot for these slightly rigid scholars. Seeing them chatting quite happily, I took the opportunity to slip away. Humming a little tune, I made my way back to my bedroom. Just as I was about to lie down and rest, a sudden noise came from behind me. I was being ambushed. My fist was already coiled to strike, but the crisp, refreshing scent, drifting from the intruder, reached me first, causing my wrist to freeze in midair. Murong Jin leaned close to my ear and said in a fierce, low tone, "Jihe, did you not promise me that you would behave yourself? It has only been a few days, and yet you have brought another man into this house." I rubbed my earlobe, to be honest. I found him for my foster mother. My foster mother is partial to scholars. I have no interest in him, Your Highness. What brings you here? Are you not busy at the moment? Murong Jin let out a sigh of relief, so faint it was barely noticeable. His tone reverted to its usual coldness. I am merely passing through to check on the welfare of the people. Well, tell me, what kind of person do you fancy? His gaze seemed to possess a hidden hook, making my heart flutter uncontrollably. So, acting with unbridled audacity, I said, "I only favor those who are handsome, Your Highness. Your word is worth 1,000 pieces of gold. Does your promise to pledge yourself to me still stand?" A faint shade of pink crept onto Murong Jin's ears. He gave a light cough. "Of course. I shall select an auspicious date and time. No need to pick." A few months later, on the day of our grand wedding, the red candles flickered, casting a glow upon Crown Prince Murong Jin's robes of black and gold. His usually stern features were softened by a rare tenderness. As he lifted the wedding veil, he locked eyes with Jihe, whose gaze was bright yet tinged with nervousness. She stuck out her tongue reflexively, and he actually curved his lips into a smile. He reached out and took her hand. As they shared the nuptial wine, his voice was low and restrained, yet filled with warmth. "My princess, I look forward to our life together.